What's up, Stat Family? Told you we was coming back with another. We got Larry Bird, who's really the greatest of all time. NBA legends. This is a live reaction. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, and comment below. Let's get it. You know what? I'm gonna act Big Bird. Y'all know this live. Well, Big Bird getting them up out there.
Larry Joe Bird. There have been players who were great at one aspect of the game. There have also been some, although far fewer in number, who were outstanding multi-dimensional players. But Larry Bird is one of only a handful of NBA stars who excelled in every facet of the game.
He's the best all-around player that ever played.
I've always had to develop different aspects of the game to be able to get my shot off.
Larry Bird, oh man, he had a killer instinct. He came for the jugular vein every time he played against you. Wasn't no nights off with him.
You know, you caused me a lot of sleepless nights.
Once he experienced the taste of excelling under pressure, Bird never looked back. 3 straight times in the mid-'80s, he was voted the league's most valuable player. The initial one coming in 1984, when the Celtics faced Magic Johnson's L.A. Lakers in the first of their epic playoff battles in the 80s.
Bird was a bad somebody.
There will never be, never, ever be another Larry Bird. He's the only guy that I fear that can beat me.
He had a quality that went beyond his skills. He was a winner. He was a champion.
He was the best I'd ever, he's the best I ever played with, against, or anything I've ever seen. People talk about Michael Jordan now and stuff. Michael Jordan can do a ton of stuff, but I don't think anybody was as good in the last few seconds as Larry was.
Goes cross court to Bird. Bird throws it up.
You know how they went.
Three-pointer! Larry Bird hit a three-pointer with 4 seconds to go, and they lead by 1.
I give up. I surrender. Jordan was 0-6 against Bird in the playoffs.
Right.
That's all I know.
So you're sticking to your guns?
That's all I know.
I think he was motivated by pride.
He had the ability to lift his game to an even higher level just when his team needed it the most. And that's what defines greatness in any athlete. Not just the ability to pile up numbers, but the ability to come through in the clutch and under pressure.
Bird up fakes. Bird takes the shot. It's gone! Oh my goodness! I can't believe it! It is gone!
A lot of players in this league that can score the first 3 quarters of the game, but you get down in the 4th quarter when you need a basket, you can separate the men from the boys.
Right.
It's been like that, and it's always going to be like that. You're always going to have the guys that come up with the attitude that they can make the last shot or make the big play.
Right.
I don't know what makes a player do that, just their competitive nature and their will to win.
Knockdown.
And if it comes down to one shot, I want to be the guy to take it.
Gonna go to Bird. He's got a shot. It is gone! It is gone! It's a 3-point field goal! And that's it! It's all over!
You were the most feared player. I feared you more than anybody else because this man would find a way to win that damn game.
Gets it on the sideline, goes baseline, throws it up, and Larry Bird did it again! He did it again! Oh my goodness! He did it again!
Larry Bird couldn't jump this high. He couldn't run at his peak faster than I can walk today. But Larry Bird, he just outthought everybody.
What a move by Larry!
Remember when Bird stole the ball against the Pistons?
Imagine for a young kid growing up in Detroit, grew up rooting against Larry Bird every chance I could get. I remember the day. Bird steals the ball underneath the DJ. I shed a tear that day.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ.
Well, put a hell of a check out there, man.
Like the great John Havlicek before him, Bird, too, saved his most memorable clutch moment for defense. In Larry's case, it was the 5th game of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals against the Detroit Pistons, when the Celtics found themselves in need of a miracle.
Detroit's ball out of bounds with 5 seconds to go, and I tell you, Isaiah Thomas made a play he'll remember the rest of his life.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, laid it down. Right hand one, second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the encroaching pass. Laid it up to
He made a game-winning steal, game-winning pass.
a 1-point lead with 1 second left. Oh my, this place is so crazy.
Detroit gets the ball, and I'm sort of sitting on the floor waiting for Detroit to call timeout. But I got back up, and I seen there wasn't going to be no timeout. And when Isaiah lofted the ball to Lambert, I cut all the way over from Dumars in front of him and just barely got my fingertips on it. Caught DJ cutting out the corner of my eye and laid it in.
That Larry Bird was the truth. Ain't no question about that.
I always remember thinking like, boy, this white guy really can play, can't he?
Born and raised in the USA?
No. There's only one Larry Bird.
Michael Jordan is as stylish as they come. Irvin Johnson's style is sometimes pure magic. And Charles Barkley's is flash and brute force. They will write their styles into basketball history.
If you were writing a book about basketball, the people you just saw would merit a chapter or two. But ask any basketball expert, and they'll tell you that if you're rewriting the story of basketball, the author, Larry Bird.
To fully appreciate what Larry Bird accomplished in his career, you have to first fully understand what he overcame in his life. French Lick, Indiana. Population 2,087 cannot be touched by interstate. Only country backroads can bring you into the second poorest region in the state, an area where the average income is just over $9,000.
One night we was sitting there, and LSU came on. Pete Maravich was playing, and I was just amazed at what he was doing with the basketball. And he ended up getting 44 that game. And after the game, my dad said, I tell you what, son, you keep practicing. He said, maybe one of these days I'll coach you and let you shoot it every time you touch it. So I always got a big kick out of that.
Larry credits his first coach, Jim Jones, with instilling in him the fundamental and work ethic that would symbolize his great career.
1973-74, Larry Bird's senior year in high school. State's leading scorer, state's leading rebounder, leading his team to the championship game in the regional.
Now we come to the subject of, this is bird country.
Oh, this is bird watching country, but this is a rare bird. There's a meteor called Haley's Comet. It appears once every 76 years. That's what they call him down here, Haley's Comet. He has unbelievable ability, and welcome to Larry's world.
Larry's quest for basketball perfection was developed at an early age, almost out of necessity. During his long practice hours, he wondered, why go home when there's nothing to come home to? He grew from a scrawny 6'1" sophomore to a gangly 6'3" junior to a 6'7" star who would average 30 points and 17 rebounds his senior season. When Larry graduated from Springs Valley, he did what any good Hoosier basketball player wants to do, play for Bob Knight at Indiana. But at age 17, Larry Bird had never been more than 50 miles away from home for longer than a weekend at a time. His stay in Bloomington lasted just 24 days. Saying he felt lost and out of place, the local hero was headed back home.
I don't think that I was either quite smart enough or quite understanding enough of Bird's situation when he was here. He was from a small town down in southern Indiana, French Lick, and had some tough things in his life growing up. And came here, and I kind of approached it when he left toward the end of September. Well, I wouldn't have chased May or Buckner or Abernathy, and I'm not going to chase Larry Bird either. Well, probably at that point in his life, Larry needed somebody to chase him a little bit and to show a little bit more compassion for his situation than I did at that time.
I get back to campus and I see Scott May and my brother, Lawrence, who happened to go to Indiana University. And I asked my brother, I said, well, where's this kid named Bird? And my brother says, yesterday I saw him out on this road, and it's called 37. I saw him on 37 with his luggage. I think he went home.
Did you feel like a failure when you were hitchhiking home?
No, I was glad to get out of there. The only thing I was worried about is when I got home how my family would react. And I can remember my mom was mad at me for 3 or 4 months after that. The first month we didn't even speak. And I can understand that. But I made the decision to leave, and I was going to stick by it. I had everybody talking to me, trying to get me to go back. But I couldn't.
Larry Bird put Indiana State on the basketball map.
I had some friends who I kept in contact with while I was still back here at Indiana State, and they never saw Indiana State or Larry Bird on TV. So because of the numbers that he would produce, they assumed that Larry Bird was a black player. And I thought, never thought of that, but they just thought that, a guy can do that kind of thing as far as score and rebound and dish out the assist. Must be a black athlete.
2 years later, basketball's secret weapon was no longer a secret to the rest of America. The Sycamores, who were unranked in the preseason polls Larry's senior season, breezed through the regular season unblemished. ISU tacked on a couple more wins during the NCAA tournament, including a 2-point victory over DePaul in the semifinals.
Great pass. Oh, and that's up. Bird gets it. Oh! There you go. Larry Bird coming in. Bird. Over Watkins. Here's what you're talking about, Al. He pushes him back in with a good ball fake. Solid fundamentally. Holds the ball above his head. Great release. Excellent rotation on the ball. The guy's incredible.
He gets super balance on his jump shot.
Larry Bird inside, and Bird controlling the game offensively. Daly just staying in place, that play coming off the low double post.
Mike, Mark McGuire fell asleep by that. He should have picked up Larry Bird.
Bird. Oh, does he ever miss? There he is, and there it is. Larry Bird ties it at 26. Oh, great assist. You're right. Larry Bird. Bird tips it in. He's everywhere. Bird. Oh, what a cut. Oh, danced it on the rim and dropped it in. We're even at 38. Bird has 20 points. Nope. Back to Bird. Great pass. Oh, what a play.
Unbelievable 83%.
Watkins too late getting there. There's a beautiful soft touch inside. That was the basket right before the... Larry Bird hits him with a block, but Bird is there again. Larry Bird with 31. What a pass. What a pass. They hit those three. Oh, what a kick.
Larry Bird, man, Larry Bird's another guy that I have a lot of respect and admiration for. Watched him develop as a collegiate player. I remember him his junior year at Indiana State had a great year. He got a first burst on the basketball scene. Then his senior year, they were at 33-0 at one point, winning every single game. He's a guy I'd watch play a collegiate league on TV and just knew that he was going to be a great NBA basketball player. A lot of people had some doubts about him, white guy, slow, whatever, but you watch his flair, how he passed the basketball, how he shot the basketball. He moved on the floor at 6'9", 225 pounds. The way he moved was just a thing of beauty.
Even though I knew I was probably going to shoot it, and if I did, I was probably going to make it, it would draw the defense to me, and it would open the court wide open.
Larry Bird, Indiana State won it. Larry Bird off the backboard. Bird off the corner. We just passed you many times. There's Bird.
Backboard.
Now takes a shot. Oh, there's one in your face. Here's where you catch Larry Bird. Watch him put the ball in the face there, take it in the face, and now watch him shoot it. Unbelievable. You know how far away that is? That's in left field. Oh, look at that pass into Bird. 3 blocks is like 2 miles in New York. It's only 1,800 feet there. And with a 26 in a row, Larry Bird from way outside. Indiana State is scoring in the first. Oh, here's a long one again. Next driving, forces the shot. Bird comes up with it, puts it up, and it is good. Here he comes in isolation on Larry Bird. Here it is. Now watch this Diane Swan hook shot. Doesn't jump too high, 4 or 5 inches. Keeps his eye in the rim. Pass off. Staley from the side, no good. Guess who's there? There's Bird by himself. Look out. I think UCLA and Notre Dame have raised the white flag. There's another play coming up. 41 points. Well, he's got 41 points already. He's putting on quite a display. We ask him if it's next. Shooting high. Bird is there. He's got the ball. He's got the shot. He's got the basket. He's within 1 foot of his all time.
As a sophomore, the last, 15 games I averaged over 40. But I had to because if we was going to win, I was going to carry the scoring load. I remember my first game, we probably had 5,000 or 6,000 people there. Then 3 games later, you couldn't get a ticket.
If there's no Larry Bird, they're mid-pack to lower in the Missouri Valley Conference. And instead, they're the first or second best team in college basketball. It's as simple as that. He meant everything.
I define a shooter as one that understands how to make shots and do that consistently.
A shooter is range and accuracy, okay, and consistency.
Being able to go out there and just get in the rhythm and shoot and from 15, 18 foot, make 60, 70 in a row. To me, that's a shooter.
Chapter 1.
I just shoot any type of shot. I'm not afraid to take an off-balance shot or a three-point shot. I just get one of them grooves, and I don't know what makes it go in. Sometimes it releases out my hand before I even think about it. I think it's just the fact that I've shot some of these shots a million times.
Where
seldom does he take a bad shot. I think his background in Indiana has been tremendous help for him because I think players who come from that part of the country, especially Indiana, get the great fundamentals.
There's nothing like going out there and throwing up shots and know that they're probably going to go in.
My favorite jump shot shooter.
I swear you ain't never lied.
He set the way for us, shooters. And the shots he used to shoot, I was like, God, that is amazing.
You hear guys say they get in the zone. It's not just the scoring part of it. It's that everything's geared to you and everything else is so easy to do. And you can just tear a team apart.
He was probably the single most dominant player in college basketball in the last 35 years.
He would come out and start right underneath the basket. Took the ball and bam, just every time until he made every single one. And then he would take a 6-inch step back until he made every one. And then another 6-inch. Larry never stopped backing up. That's the unlimited range that he had.
He was the best deep shooter that I've ever seen. He could shoot from deep and had no conscience whatsoever. And that's what made him even better. He was the best man.
The championship matchup would prove to be Act 1 of a long-running two-man play that would eventually leave a lasting impression on the sport. Bird didn't know his team would make it to Salt Lake City that year, but he had a premonition Magic's team would.
I remember the first time I seen him play was my senior year, and they were playing against the Russians. And, they would dunk and pass, and you could tell he had control of the game from the beginning. And we played the Russians that year, too, and we had a close game. They beat them, 15 points, 20 points. But you could just tell he was a great basketball player.
Indiana State's one for all couldn't beat Michigan State's all for one. Bird and the Sycamores' magical season couldn't make their final opponent disappear.
All-American, we go to the finals. We lose to Michigan State. After the game, he tells me, I need to go to the boys club and I need to work out and shoot. I need to work on my game. Hey, we had a great year, man. What are you talking about? I'm going home and I'm going to brag. I'm not going to play any ball, but that's just the difference.
Real legend now.
When Larry Bird left behind the towns of French Lick, West Baden, and Terre Haute, Indiana, to come here to the city of Boston, the hopes and dreams of an entire franchise were pinned squarely on his shoulders.
Bird was a junior eligible when the Celtics selected him as the 6th pick in the 1978 draft. Bird joined the Celtics a year later, signing the largest rookie contract in sports history at the time. Bird was entering the NBA at a time when 80% of its starters were black. He was joining a last-place team with a me-first attitude, a team that had posted the most losses in franchise history the previous season. He refused to be turned into a symbol representing the Great White Hope.
Larry Bird could walk, literally in his heyday. He could walk into any black neighborhood in America.
Definitely. Goodness. That was hard right there. Turn around.
Some blacks were skeptical of the knight in shining armor.
Well, you know, the league needs great white players, and they need great black players, you know, because it's great for marketing, great for the league, you know, fans and everything. And so I thought they were really just pushing somebody to be a great white player. I didn't think he was as good as everybody's saying he was. But once I came in and started playing with him, I realized then that everything they said about him was true.
I look like 92 right
now. Sit back out and have a beer out in the locker room, and we was talking, you know, we maybe talking. It's like, you know, like what has lit you up? And I used to always say that, you know, like to my friends, it's like, yo, is Larry really that good? I used to say like, yeah, that's the baddest white boy I ever played against.
It's cold, man. You're a real legend, Big Bird, for real now. No salute.
Ain't nobody ever gave me shit. I had to get my own chance to make it out the field. Slim as a chicken bone. These lanes don't want us to shine. I hear it in their tone. All I really want to do is rhyme. I be in my zone. Yo, this new era, I do not feel it. I know you think my shit hot, but do not steal it. I be spitting out grease like a hot skillet. Anything you hear me, yo, you know that I'm a kill it. These new niggas, it's so ass. Don't come around my way, you get no pass. I don't even know what's going on these days. You ain't understand? Well, let me rephrase. Nobody gave me shit. Just mama, not Reagan, not Clinton, not the Bushes or Obama. A nigga hit the block early, pitching at Madonna. By the age of 12, I smoking marijuana. Spitting 16s, battle rapping, trying to make money. I'm authentic and y'all niggas is fake money. You see the flow with something that never take from me. You only hating on the Gators cause your cake funny. Broke niggas, they stay hating. Want a brother to farewell, keep waiting. I'm the truth, go ahead with it.
So you're seeing a guy like Bird coming in and dominate.
He was ridiculous. He came in here. Remember, our sportscaster played the Superman theme when he was talking about him that night after the game. Because he did everything. Points, rebounds, assists, just steals, you name it. Larry has such a great mind for the game. And, you know, a great touch. I had a lot of respect for him as a competitor.
Carter, the owner of the Mavericks team, to get back here at 3 and 1 with Larry Bird. Again, he's short, and Larry Bird. Unenviable pass right there. And that's a good pass from Walton to a cutting Larry Bird. Easting finally misses, but Bird doesn't. Bird gets a three-point try, and count it. And again, there are the Celtics, Larry Bird. Larry Bird. Of course, he's one of the leading three-point field goal shooters. Larry Bird. Larry Bird. Larry Bird. And Larry Bird has 32 just moments ago. Ellis goes for the steal, and Larry Bird with the left hand. Whittington can't get it to drop. Larry Bird, three-pointer. Count it. Two-man game for Boston. Larry Bird only needs one man. Very strong hand. They lead by 4 with 12 seconds. Bird, three-pointer. Count it. Larry Bird comes back with a clutch play.
The legend of Larry Bird really took root almost from the first moment he stepped onto an NBA court. Boston wins became a familiar phrase around the NBA when Larry Bird joined the Boston Celtics in 1979. In his first season, Bird helped the resurgent Celtics improve their record by 32 wins, and a year later against the Houston Rockets, he led Boston to the NBA championship.
Crazy.
Bird pops out, thinks it through. Bird just right around the break. Bird will try deep.
Shot.
Should be a lawyer. Bird's free. Will have to be the ball. Bird picks up.
You gotta make somebody even slow. Man, moving out there.
Won't get down. Larry there for the follow.
It worked.
Bird, there's the backdoor play. Peterson picks up the foul. All right, how many times have we seen that play, Mike? Twice a game for the last month, huh? Unbelievable. Finds Larry top of the key.
Not now.
Bird's
turn around.
Bird for 3.
Backboard.
Make it 31. Oh, Larry spins through. I'm not sure what that was. A double team that didn't double. And he's trying to go one-on-one on Reed, looking for the double. And McDowell gets down there, but not quick enough.
He was one of the first stretch fours.
Right. Right. We sit
I
there.
mean, we talk about what's going on today. We talk about a guy who was 6'9", 6'10", playing the 4, shooting threes. That was unheard of back then.
Best passing forward that's ever played.
Chapter 2 is passing. While all of Larry's passes may not be fundamental, in this chapter he always seems to get the ball there.
Showtime.
I realized that you can move the ball up the court a lot quicker if you pass it opposed to dribbling. And some of the passes I make, I try that you really might have a very slim chance of making it. But you got to try it, because if you get double teamed, there's an opportunity that somebody's going to be open somewhere.
He has such supreme confidence in his passing ability. He knows if he draws 2 people, he's probably going to produce something better in the form of a layup. Bird does it instinctively. It doesn't take any effort. He doesn't have to turn his head. He looks at the entire floor and he sees movement and color.
The Celts won 61 games in Bird's rookie season. A year later, he would guide Boston to the first of his 3 titles. 3 years later, he would earn the first of his 3 consecutive MVPs. He was cocky, he was arrogant, and he was driven by being the best player on the best team.
You want to have them days where everything goes right for you, either passing, shooting, or playing good defense. And once it does, you don't feel like anybody can really stop you.
Now in this chapter, the other team has the ball, but when Larry's on the court, not for long.
It's always anticipation. You watch the other team, you watch the plays that they call, you watch the plays that the coach calls from the bench, and you anticipate where the ball's going, and you anticipate what your man's supposed to do, and you just go from there. It's a lot of luck.
Tony holds the ball. And Bird steals the ball from Tony. And that's it. It's all over.
He isn't blessed with a great deal of jumping ability,
but he's blessed with knowing where to
put his body. He puts his body on the right part of the floor to defend. He has great anticipation.
And the final chapter, in the clutch, we find out just why Larry Bird is rewriting the book of basketball and soaring over all challengers. With a dedication unmatched in sports, we now know why they say, get the ball to Larry.
Sometimes he gets in the fourth quarter and 3 or 4 minutes ago, and everybody will come and say, okay, Larry, it's time to take over. You know, that's the greatest feeling in the world. Here you're playing with some of the best players in the game, and here they come to you and say, okay, it's time to take over the game. And that's a heck of a feeling.
Old lady life doing so much sad. I'm so nice with this rap shit, I should teach in class. Lord, you lame something, show you how it's done. And I ain't even going hard, I'm just having fun. Can't none of these lames see me, not near one. Niggas try to take a shot at me, boy, I dare one.
Part 1.